Hello guys, and welcome once again to my channel. If you have been here and if you haven't, it is so very nice of you to pass by. For today's video, I'm going to be creating another makeup look with the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. So if you want to see how I did this look, just keep on watching. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is prime my eyelids. This is going to work both as a base to cover up any darkness that I may have on my eyelids, and also it's going to help the shadows stay on all day. Then, because primers tend to be a little sticky, I'm going to set that primer with some translucent powder. Then I'm taking the shade POOTER, which is a nice matte neutral brown shade, and I'm applying that all over my crease and also the outer corner of my eye. And I'm not being super careful with this because this is only being used as a transition shade, meaning that I will be applying a darker one right under. And for the darker brown, I'm using the shade MOCHA, which is a dark brown. It's not super dark, like almost black, but it is really nice and rich. It looks like coffee basically. It's beautiful. And I'm applying that right under POOTER, so basically in the deeper part of my crease and also in the inner part of my outer corner, if that makes any sense. And these shadows are both super buildable and super blendable, so you'll see that the browns are getting darker, but I'm not actually adding any other shade as of right now. I just keep applying more on top of that, and it just keeps getting darker and just more blended and put together. Then I'm taking my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and with a very precise liner brush, I'm just kind of cutting a cut crease basically, but I'm not going all the way to my outer corner. I'm leaving it right before the lid ends. So I'm just applying that, setting a base for the next shadow that I'll be applying, which is Queen, yes, and it is a nice beautiful golden shadow, and I'm applying that all over my lid right on top of that concealer. The concealer is going to do both things: clean up the lid for the light shadow to show up better, and also, since it's a cream formula, it's going to work as like a glue, and the shadow is going to show up better and it's going to stay in place. Now, I did want the very outer corner of my lid to be a little darker, so I took the darkest brown in this palette, which is Central Park, and I applied that right in the outer corner. If you can see that I'm barely moving the brush around, I'm just like tapping that on the spot and just slightly blending around that area, and for that I'm using a very small precise brush. Now, I'm not completely done with the eyes, but I'm going to move on to the face for now. I'm starting by priming my face, and for that I'm using the Pop Face Magnet Primer. I have been really enjoying this. It is by Pop Beauty that I say that. That's where it's from. I've been really into this primer. It's pretty awesome. And then for foundation, I'm mixing my Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation with some oil from Derma E. And the reason I'm doing this, if you haven't seen this clip, it's on Instagram and it went pretty much viral. It has so many views, and some people are questioning why I did this. I would never just cut up the foundation and mix it with oil, but because I couldn't get any more out of the tube, it was at its end, then I just scooped it out and mixed it with the oil. So I wouldn't just break it just for the fun of it, but I did it because I couldn't really use it, you know what I mean? So I mixed that with the oil, and it looks a little oily, but trust me, at the end it just looks beautiful. It makes my skin look so healthy and just so pretty. And after I set that with powder, it didn't look oily. It wasn't like slipping around or anything. It just looked so pretty, so healthy. And I have oily skin myself, so I wouldn't use like an oily foundation, but this didn't turn it into an oily foundation. It just made it more fluid and easy to work with. So for concealer, I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer because it's the best. And I'm just blending that out with my Pure sponge. And I'm applying that concealer on my under eyes to cover up any darkness, and also down the center of my nose and forehead, just to balance out the color. Since concealer tends to be sometimes lighter than your foundation, then you want your face to look balanced and not just your under eye to be brighter than everything else, you know what I mean? So I usually don't do cream contouring, but today, because my foundation was looking so healthy, I felt like doing that. So I'm using my ADH cream contour palette, and I'm using the shade Cinnamon, which is the medium brown in this palette, and I'm applying that in the hollowest part of my cheeks, and I'm blending that out with my pure sponge. And usually this cream contour is hard to work with, it's a little dry, but because I had oil on my face, it made it so easy and just so beautiful. Then I'm setting my under eye with my RCMA no color powder. I have been really into this. I don't like it for the rest of my face, but I'm really liking it to set my under eye concealer. And usually foundation tends to crease around my nose, so I just set it with this powder as well. And for the rest of my face, I am setting my foundation with my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte powder, which I am truly honestly obsessed with. It looks so good. Moving on. Now going back to finish my eyes, I am taking once again the color POOTER, and I'm applying that all over my under eye, and then I'm taking MOCHA, which is the medium dark brown that I'm using, and I'm applying that right on my under lash line. If you wanted this look to be more smoky, then you would use the medium and the dark brown, but I didn't want it to be so intense, so I'm using the light and the medium brown. Does that make sense? Then for my inner corner highlights, I'm using the color Beam, which is one of the two light shimmery shadows that are in this palette, and it is so beautiful. I will totally use this as highlight. It's so pretty. And then I'm taking Queen, which is the same golden one that I applied, and I'm applying that in the inner lower lash line. Then I'm going back to Beam, and I'm applying that on my brow bone to make my brow appear more lifted. And now going back to the face, I'm taking the color Havana from the ABH powder contour palette, and I'm applying that in the most hollow part of my cheeks, right on top of where I applied the cream contour. I also like to take that brush up to the sides of my face to make it appear more slim. Now moving on to highlights, I'm using my OFRA Rodeo Drive highlight. It is stunning. I mean, just look at this. And I'm applying that in the highest part of my cheeks, also the tip of my nose, which is my favorite thing to do at the moment. It's the best. And I'm also applying that on my Cupid's bow. And for blush, I'm applying also from OFRA the color Raisin. Now we're almost done, so now I'm going back to the eyes and I'm applying some mascara, and this one is by Essence. It is the Lash Princess, which I have been really into. And then for lips, I'm applying Starlet by CIATE. This color is just so pretty. It is like an orangey bright red. It reminds me of the certain collab that hasn't come out yet, Hot Fire, you know what I mean? So basically, this entire look is complete. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I really appreciate it so much. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.